The problem when you start reloading a lot and you get out there and you do a lot of testing, you start getting a little complacent. And unfortunately, it's what I did on the weekend. And I paid for it very dearly. I was doing some load testing on my 223 in the 75 grain BT HP projectiles. And I was looking at the speed and it was sitting around the 28, 20 mark, 40 mark. So I decided to go up a little bit in the powder. Now, I did all the right things. I jumped on the ADI site. I looked for what their recommended max was, which was 24.5. Now, because I had opened up the case a little bit and created a little bit more headspace, I thought I'd be more than safe. And the biggest issue was not that I hit a pressure sign, is that I ignored the first one. So when I came to 24.4 and I was going up by 0.1 of a grain, I looked at the cartridge and the primer was indented a little bit more than normal. And there was a slight marking on the back side of the brass, which means it had engaged hard against the bolt. Call it stupid, call it whatever. I really wanted to see what 24.5 would do. Well, I saw what it did. Blew the back of the bolt off. So I pulled the trigger and I just remember something hitting me on my arm hard. And I looked down and I seen the back part of the bolt on my shooting bench and my trigger jammed up. And I just shook my head and thought to myself, well, you've only got yourself to blame. You noticed some slight pressure on the round before. Why would you think it'd get any better? And this is what happens when you get a bit complacent, when you start working up on very high pressures and you get away with it with one time too many. But in my defense, I didn't actually expect it to be that bad because I was at the top scale of the recommended powder charge. So it goes to show you can get pressure anywhere. It all depends on your rifle and your chamber, the way sometimes if you're too close to the lands, that can cause pressure as well. But the good thing is I've learnt my lesson. I'm not going to chase 2950 in 75 grain. And in all fairness, I just went back on all my research and I found that with the 24 grain of powder, I was close to 2,900 anyway. So I should have just left it at that. The group was good. Everything was great. But what can I say? Stupidity on my behalf. So this is the warning out there that don't do what I did. If you see pressure signs, stop. Back off. Don't go anywhere near there because it is a lot of pressure. So we're talking about sometimes over 50,000 PSI. It's not something to kid. And if you look at some videos online where you see bolts going through people's neck, I count my lucky stars that there was nothing more serious. I don't think it was at that pressure that could do that, but it doesn't matter. I crossed that line. The minute I saw pressure, I should have stopped. Anyway, I thought I'd share that little story. Hopefully you guys will listen to it and think, I'm not going there. Stick to safety.